What's going on, everybody in H-Town and all the Houston Rockets fans all around the world? My name is David Marotta, and welcome to another episode of Rockets Daily, brought to you by FanArch. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're watching this video. Congratulations. You are one of the first to lock in with us. Newest channel for the Houston Rockets, and the goal here is simple. Bring you the best Houston Rockets coverage that we possibly can each day, and also be a show for you, the Houston Rockets fans, the NBA fans that just want to find out what's going on with the Houston Rockets and learn as much about the NBA as possible. Subscribe to this channel. That way you're notified every time a video is dropped. Go ahead and like, and make sure to leave a comment if you have anything to say. If there's anything about the topics that you like, anything that you don't like, leave a comment. I definitely will read each and every one. We want to talk about topics pertaining to you. If there's a topic on your mind, if there's a question about the Houston Rockets, if there's a trade scenario that you want to discuss that you don't really see being discussed or you have an opinion on, go ahead, put it out there. We'll go through those and make this a channel for the people. And as I said yesterday, my goal 2026 is simple. Want to be here with you guys this time next year. A lot more subscribers. Be here in front of you guys as we're talking about a 2026 NBA Finals with the Houston Rockets involved. And there's a lot that's going to happen if we want to be in that position next year. 52 wins, second best record in the Western Conference. A lot to be happy about. The future's bright, but you cannot take anything for granted in the NBA. Obviously, first round exit. Can this team, for the most part, stay the course with the roster? And can guys make the improvement and make the jump? Is that going to be enough to get into the NBA Finals? Competing against an Oklahoma City Thunder team, though, in the Western Conference that's built for the long run. They're going to be able to keep reloading. They're also young. They're also stacked. More stacked at the moment. So it's going to take some work to get there. So we're going to be talking about that. NBA draft, free agency, some likely scenarios, some things that may not happen, crazy scenarios. You never know what's going to happen in the NBA, but sometimes this is the most fun, the soap opera of the NBA. So let's go ahead and get into today. And yesterday, feel free to watch the other episodes. We're going to be talking more about Giannis and KD. Talked about both of them yesterday on the previous episode. Today, not going to talk about them too much. Some of the names involved in this one, they may not be some of the biggest marquee, some of the sexiest names on the market, but definitely some names that I have seen popping out there. And the first thing that I want to talk about, because a lot of the players on this roster, the Rockets, there was either team options, player options. There's some extensions that are going to that aren't necessarily urgent, but they're worth the conversation. But there's not a whole lot of unrestricted free agents. You have Jeff Green, you've got Steven Adams, and Steven Adams is someone that's really intriguing as far as will Steven Adams be back next season. So Steven Adams didn't get a ton of playing time during the season. He had a very big role, though, in that series against the Golden State Warriors. When you look at that, the Rockets were almost plus 31 points per 100 possessions to the positive when Adams was on the court against the Golden State Warriors. And even in limited action, if we look at our advanced stats here, going through the roster for the season, Steven Adams actually was the fourth highest rated player on this team. You had Şengün, who was number 1, Amin Thompson, who was number 2, Tari Eason, number 3. And then you had Steven Adams coming in there. So he was just ahead of Jock Landale. We had a Cam Whitmore. And then he had Jalen Green. And then Jeff Green, Fred VanVleet following that. So Steven Adams is a guy that, perfect world, I would like to see him back in Houston. I think most Houston Rockets fans would like to see him back. Let me know in the comments, not whether or not you want Adams back, but do you think Steven Adams will be back next season? As much as I would like to see Steven Adams back, I don't think that he will be back. We'll see what happens. But that's just my prediction, because I just think when you look at the market when you look at what he has to bring to the table, still just 31 years old, believe it or not. Solid veteran presence, somebody who's going to come in and play hard when he's called upon, but not complain about minutes when he's not in there. I do feel like there's going to be a team that's going to come out and maybe give more money or more years to Steven Adams than the Houston Rockets might want to do. And when you look at all the young players on the team, that was when he was on the court with Şengün, and that's one thing I'll definitely want to touch on. I mentioned the almost 31 points per 100 possessions to the positive. That was when Adams and Şengün were actually on the floor at the same time. So that's another thing to discuss. Obviously, I want Şengün to be back on the roster. I feel like he's an untouchable, but you could check out yesterday's episode of Rockets Daily, and there was a scenario in there where the Rockets could get Giannis and Kevin Durant get both of them. In that situation, obviously Şengün would not be back. It's all hypothetical. So obviously, Steven Adams, Şengün on the court together was very effective against the Golden State Warriors. But this team still needs to put shooters around them. And I think that just with the need for shooting, when you look at how young this roster is, I don't think Steven Adams is going to be back because I do think that there is a need for perimeter shooting. I've said this before, I'll say it again. We were the second worst three-point shooting team that made the playoffs behind the Orlando Magic. So that's something that needs to be addressed. And we're going to look at different shooters on the market, but one guy I want to discuss here is going to be Reed Sheppard. And with Reed Sheppard, are the Rockets going to really commit to playing him more? And is he going to be ready to play more? He won 52 games, and the way the Western Conference is, no guarantee you're going to be the second seed next year. I mean, it's a thin line between being the second seed to the seventh seed in the Western Conference. So as much as we all want to see Reed Sheppard on the floor, how much patience is Coach Udoka going to really be able to have with him? 4.4 points per game, 1.5 rebounds, 1.4 assists, just over 35% shooting from the field in 52 games. Only played less than 13 minutes a game. Saw some action in garbage time in the playoffs. Didn't look too good, which actually led to looking like garbage time. It was standing out to me that Game 5, Rockets had a huge lead against the Warriors, and Sheppard in the second unit did not look good at all. And the Warriors, and actually the Rockets had to put the starters back in the game as the Warriors reserves were really taking it to them. So, and obviously he wasn't really a part of the game plan first year for Reed Sheppard, but is he someone that can take the leap and also add to the possible outside shooting? It definitely was a learning year. It looked good in camp. Looks good in Summer League, but is he going to be able to take the leap? Shot better at three-point range in home games than he did in the road. Is Reed Sheppard somebody that you still think is a part of the future? Ideally, if you only won 40 games, you probably would be thinking more so. But with the window with winning 52 games last year, and the Pacers and the Thunder going to the finals, there's a lot of teams, Minnesota Timberwolves in the conference finals, Cleveland Cavaliers knocking on the door in the East, New York Knicks looking to make some big splashes in the East to get to the finals. Things are really wide open in the NBA right now, and so many teams really believing that they have a chance to win. Lakers, Nuggets, the West is loaded, so you may not really be able to be as patient with Sheppard if you want to. So do you guys think that Sheppard can make a contribution next year? Because if he's really going to be able to contribute 3 to 4 years down the line, is he someone, the way that this current roster is constructed, that you're just going to be able to hold on to and be patient? Another guy that I want to talk about, and I've seen his name, is not making big headlines, but kind of circulating out there. Kelly Oubre Jr., who has a option with the Philadelphia 76ers. He can opt out and become a unrestricted free agent. I would assume that he's going to do that, making me feel old. I remember the first time I personally saw Kelly Oubre play was his junior year. I believe it was the regional finals. He was playing for Bush High School, Mo City, going up against Travis and the Harrison twins over there. Shakes my mind now if it was Travis or Austin, but he was going up against the Harrison twins, and I went to actually watch the Harrison twins play. Didn't know anything about Kelly Oubre at the time, and I was looking, and I was like, man, this guy is by far the best player on the floor. Looked him up afterwards, saw he had some offers from like Kansas, Georgetown, Villanova. Obviously, he ended up going to Kansas, and now 10 years in the NBA for Kelly Oubre Jr. He's a name that's popped up over the years now as time's flying by. Could he be, returning? Could he be returning back home? Good veteran presence. I don't think that Kelly Oubre Jr. would be the best fit. I like Kelly Oubre Jr., no knock on him, but when you look at how young this roster is, Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, who does he take minutes from? And the biggest need right now, if Kelly Oubre Jr. is going to come in, is really going to be someone who is going to add to three-point shooting. Now, when we look at the player efficiency ratings, he was rated a little higher than Fred VanVleet overall. But Oubre Jr. for his career, 32.5% three-point shooting. However, he's coming off the second worst three-point shooting season of his career, just 29.3% from three-point range last season. A little over 15 points per game, a little over 6 rebounds per game, 208th in PER in the NBA. A little bit above average there, but I just, obviously that Philadelphia 76ers team was a mess. You had injuries all over the place. Paul George gave them nothing. Joel Embiid was hurt all year. Tyrese Maxey was dealing with injuries. That team was a shell of itself. But when you look at Oubre at this point of his career, I don't know if he's the best fit for the Rockets, because I don't think that he really, taking minutes away from Eason, taking minutes away from Smith, I don't think, Dylan Brooks is obviously already here. I don't think that he really upgrades you at any of those positions. So I think that there's definitely better fits for Kelly Oubre Jr., but it is a story out there, and it definitely is something to talk about. Another thing, Bruce Brown, interesting name that's been going around there. And some of you guys, time goes by so fast. Denver Nuggets 2023 NBA Championship. Bruce Brown made a strong contribution, averaging about 12 points per game there during the postseason. Signed with the Indiana Pacers. That was definitely short-lived. Went over to the Toronto Raptors, and now currently with the New Orleans Pelicans. But he is a free agent. And could he possibly be someone that could come to H-Town? Definitely we need some outside three-point shooting. Interesting thing, though, with Bruce Brown, though, when you look at overall, I know that championship run for the Denver Nuggets over the Miami Heat, he stood out, knocked down some big threes, but he really has not been overall. And now it's a large sample size. We talk about analytics versus eye test, but when you look at him coming into the NBA in 2018 with the Detroit Pistons, now Brown is just 33.7% from three-point range, and the Rockets need to start getting more guys in that 37% and higher. So many guys on this team in that 31 to 35% range. And Brown, you look at throughout his career, the best season that he had with the Brooklyn Nets, he shot over 40%, but he shot just 1.3 three-point attempts per game in that one. When you start to look at when his volume went up to getting more than 2 threes per game, his three-point percentage significantly declined, just 8.3 points per game last season. Only 28 years old, but I don't think that he's the guy that makes this roster better. I am not in the market for... I'm not a fan of bringing in Bruce Brown. I think with Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepherd, I would rather see one of them get more minutes than to give those minutes to Bruce Brown. If we're going to get someone that's going to be taking minutes away from Reed Shepherd and Cam Whitmore's development, definitely need somebody who is a more efficient player over who's proven to be a more efficient player. So let me know what you guys think. Steven Adams, a few things in the comments. Steven Adams, will he be back? Yes or no? Will Reed Shepherd be on this roster next year, and will he be a contributor? Kelly Oubre Jr., would you like to see him come into the Houston Rockets, and Bruce Brown see an option, or something that we don't really need to discuss on here again? Let me know what you guys think. Once again, I'm David Delano Marotta. Thanks so much for watching Rockets Daily. Please go ahead and subscribe and let us know what you'd like to see moving forward. Let's have a great day.